We're here for another Coach's Corner this month, checking in with head coach Mike New. Get to the end of the fall here, kind of in general, the end of especially the 45-day kind of heavy championship window in the fall. Let's start with kind of the small picture. We just finished the Fall World Series last week, so maybe just give us an update on your takeaways. Team Jackson won the series 3-1. It was, especially at the end, a really tight series and a lot of good competitive baseball in those last two games. What were some of the things that you saw from the team in that series?
Yeah, I always feel like the World Series is probably my favorite time of the fall because we get to mirror the season the closest possible way with the competitiveness. There's a inner competitiveness between each guy, and you get to see that. And it was no different this year. Probably one of the best years I've seen. So that was fun to see our guys in that environment and just playing with a different level of intensity, and that was exciting to see. So I thought it went really well. Caleb Blum would be the MVP, had a really good series, and that was fun to see him, emerge and step up, being one of our better guys, and a lot of guys followed up and had some big moments, so that was really good.
Cool. Well, let's talk about the big picture now. So the fall, in baseball especially, a lot of people talk about the fall really being a grind. It's even 45 days, it doesn't seem crazy, but when you think about the hours these guys are putting in the weight room, on the field, we got to play 3 games against other teams, plus the Fall World Series to finish. What's your takeaway for the team as you get to the end of that kind of heavy baseball chunk in the fall?
Yeah, I think the work never stops, but it was great to see us establish, our culture, understanding that, hey, it takes a lot of work. There's a lot of time management. There's a lot of discipline. There's a lot of attention to detail that comes into being a great player and a great team. And I think our team has really bought into that. It's been fun to see our guys, really be bought into, getting after it every day, understanding that, hey, it's a mindset to be, ready to go every day, get better, and also, prepare yourself to, go to school and go to the weight room and have a full day, but be disciplined to have that type of focus to get better throughout that whole day and then do it over again. And that's what the best players and the best teams are able to do. And I thought our team, did a really good job of that and has continued to do that as we get into the last 5 or 6 weeks. We understand that we got more work to do and before we get a little break and then get ready for the season, which is exciting.
So you talk about that 5 or 6 weeks. The structure is different, but it's still there, right? They're down to 8-hour weeks now, so they really have you, especially as the manager of this whole thing, have to really be smart about how you plan all this out. But what is your expectation for what these guys individually now take away from these next 5-6 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's nice to be able to see guys, they have a chance to, work a little bit harder in the weight room, push themselves a little bit more in that area with us being on the field a little bit less, but also get a chance to spend some individual time on their game and get better in specific areas, which is a great time to do it. And then we can also work on some team aspects that we got a chance to see during the fall, improve those, and kind of get a little ramp up into the spring where we're ready to go and we can kind of hit the ground running going into our first week of games. So it gives us a chance to kind of switch gears, but also get a lot of work in and be very focused and do it in a little bit different way than we've been doing it. So I think that's a big time for us for sure, and our guys are ready to switch gears into that phase of our fall.
For sure. Last question for you. After those 5 or 6 weeks, they get some time at home, like you said. What's, from your perspective at the top of this thing, like what's your goal when they come back in January? If they do it right, they're gone, but they work the way you want, the culture continues to build. What do you want this thing to look like on the first day of practice in January?
Yeah, I think it's obviously some active rest. You get a chance to spend some time with your family. You get a chance to deload a little bit. These guys won't have to go to school, which is going to be, a chance for them to get a break mentally, a little bit of break physically, but then also take responsibility for your game. Take advantage of that time that you'll be able to spend, and then we get back and we roll into our preparation for the season, with high expectations to perform really well and, come out and be, disciplined with your practice, but also get some deload. And then we come in and hit the ground running with the, thoughts that we're going into that first weekend, ready to play from every aspect, physically, mentally, team, all those things. And we'll obviously have a great plan to get everybody ready, but take responsibility for your game. And I think we have a lot of guys that are really willing to do that and excited to do that. And, that's the fun part of you know, the different phases of the fall and going into the spring is, you know, you have a lot of opportunities in different ways to get better, and we have the right type of guys to be able to do that, and that's a fun time. Obviously the spring is what you're preparing for. That's the most important time and the most fun time to travel, to play at a high level, and the preparation for that is really high. So it's exciting to kind of go through those next few phases before we just start you know, getting out and competing in games that are going to count on our record, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, we'll enjoy the rest of the fall, enjoy a little bit, maybe a minute or two of a break before the spring starts, and
Yeah,
we'll go from there.
sounds good.
Cool. Stay tuned for more updates the rest of the fall, and especially once we get to the spring.